Hi everyone, in this video I will introduce the colorful visual system of mantis shrimps. First I will introduce the big family of mantis shrimps, the structure and functions of their compound eyes, and also some applications inspired by the mantis shrimps visual systems. Mantis shrimps, which are also called stomapod crustaceans, is a kind of carnivorous marine crustaceans. Actually, mantis shrimp is a common name for the order Stomatopoda. This name comes from ancient Greek and it means mouth and foot. There are about 450 species of mantis shrimps have been discovered all over the world. These species of mantis shrimps vary in their appearances like length, color, and structures, and they have different living habitats. Here I will focus on several specific species to show their visual systems. This is a map showing the distribution of mantis shrimps all over the world. As we all know, humans have 3 color cones to see colors, while for mantis shrimps, they have 16 to 21 types of photoreceptors. For example, the species showing on the right have 16 types of photoreceptors, and among them there are 12 photoreceptors used for detecting colors. On the right, there is the spectrum of their photoreceptors for detecting colors. But they have more color sensors doesn't mean they can see better. What about the resolution of the color they can see? Look at the round patches on the left. You can tell the differences among them, can't you? They are taken from the right side spectrum with a distance of 20 nanometers. But for mantis shrimps, it's hard to tell the differences among them. Humans can discriminate color since we can detect differences in color based on the cone responses and neural computations. But mantis shrimps, they are poor at discriminating between colors. Their photoreceptors work independently of each other without any neural computations. It's hard for them to discriminate color differ within 25 nanometers, while the threshold for human eye is about 1 to 5 nanometers. Why they have to see so many colors? Maybe one reason is that they are colorful themselves. Using the visual system, they can identify their companions and enemies easily. The picture shows species under different superfamilies and they have different colors. Even within one species, they have different colors as well. The mantis shrimp has a kind of trinocular eyes. Trinocular means one eye of mantis shrimp could see 3 images at one time, so they have stereo vision to measure depth using a single eye. A standard structure of mantis shrimp compound eye comprises dorsal hemisphere, ventral hemisphere, and 6-row midband, showing on the left picture. These structures are found in the species under 4 superfamilies, and they are highlighted in purple text. The mantis shrimp have 2 eyes. They are mirror images of each other, and the dorsal hemisphere and ventral hemisphere are also symmetric. Ommatidia is the elementary unit in the compound eye. They are hexagonal, and for example, in an ommatidia of both hemispheres, there are corneal, crystalline cones, then 4 RH cells. Under those, there are 7 longer R1 to 7 cells arranging in a ring counterclockwise, and both R8 and R1 to 7 cells made up the fused rhamnus. When light arrives the midband, the UV light are discriminated by RH cells first. But there are only 2 visual pigments in RH cells, so they have to collaborate with the UV filters for spectral diversity. There are 4 types of UV filters in crystalline cones in the midband with different spectral sensitivity. The study of Michel showed that the mantis shrimps can use these filters to avoid interferences of the UV light in the shallow water. After UV light has been received, the row 1 to 4 of midband are mainly used for visible color perception. Visible means visible for our human. The underlying two types of R1 to 7 cells examine different colors individually. And in the row 2 and row 3 of midband, there are also two types of filters between random tiles, F1 and F2. They are used for spectral tuning so that 12 colors are evenly distributed in the spectrum. Every species of mantis shrimps will arrange the cells with different photoreceptors to match the wavelengths of light with the position of cells. Generally speaking, from distal to proximal in the random, the peak wavelength of photoreceptor spectral sensitivity increases. This is a simulation shows that underwater what looks like in a single eye of mantis shrimp, the dorsal hemisphere, the midband, and the ventral hemisphere. It may be not exactly what they see since we couldn't represent UV light in visible colors, and I just simply map the color to 12 color receptors. Using some color filters, you can see the images each type of photoreceptor receives. As we know, the mantis shrimp are excellent predators. Using the same filter in midband, we can see how they identify the prey, some small fish, and even they are moving quickly. Another visual ability of mantis shrimp is that they can see polarized light. Maybe in their eyes, polarization can also be considered a kind of color. First, let me give the definition of polarization. Polarized waves are waves in which the vibration occurs in single plane. The common light like sunlight is unpolarized, while after passing polarizers, it becomes polarized. There are so many ways to generate polarized light. We usually use polarizer to produce it in the lab, and it looks like the fans and only light in one direction can pass through the polarizers. Then, some non-metallic material could generate polarized light by reflection. Look at the third picture. Beam arrived on the surface at a critical angle, Brewster's angle, and then the reflection ray is totally polarized, and the refraction ray is partially polarized. Finally, the molecules can scatter light in all directions. For example, the gas and water molecules in the atmosphere prefer to scatter short wavelength light. That's why the sky looks blue. For the mantis shrimp, the polarized light mostly comes from the reflection by the water surface and other creatures and refraction of the sunlight. The human eye lacks the ability to distinguish between randomly oriented and polarized light. But we can wear some glasses. For example, you can reduce glare by wearing a polarized sunglasses. And when you watch 3D movies, you can see different pictures through left and right eyeglasses. They are polarized in orthogonal direction, then you will have a 3D sense. With polarization filters, you can see internal stress of many materials like ice and plastic gel. When illuminated with polarized light and photographed in a second analyzing polarizer, you can see the colorful polarization. If light is composed of two plane waves of equal amplitude by delaying a quarter phase, then the light is said to be circularly polarized. In laboratory, people usually use quarter wave plate to produce circularly polarized light. There are fast axis and slow axis in the plate, and it makes a delay of a quarter phase for the light vibrate in the direction of slow axis, and then it forms a circularly polarized light. Mantis shrimp can see both linearly and circularly polarized light. One of One of the reasons might be that their body could reflect light in a polarized way. The picture shows their telsons on the left hand and right hand circularly polarized glasses. This may be a secret communication channel of them. From the study of CHO, the 6 specific circularly polarized light is only emitted by males, and may be the intensity and orientations of the polarization determine whether the shrimp is popular in females or not. The row 5 and 6 in the midband are used to receive polarized light. It is composed of a group of R8 cells and one type of R127 cells with indigitating orthogonal microvilli, which normally provide opponent channels for linearly polarized light discrimination. In the picture, you can see two pairs of orthogonal R8 and R127 cells. You can see a simplified picture here. Since a quarter-wave plate can generate circularly polarized light, it can also be used to receive circularly polarized light. Actually, the R8 cells act as a quarter-wave plate here, and the phase axes are posed 45 degrees to the underlying two receptor channels. After passing the R8 cells, the quarter phase delay are eliminated for some cells, and delay becomes a half phase for other cells. That's how they discriminate left hand and right hand circularly polarized light. There are also many applications inspired by mantis shrimps. Look at the structure of mantis shrimp eye on the left. Then, this group invent a camera inspired by the mantis shrimp's eyes, and they are also consist of 6 semi-transparent POPVs. It's a kind of chemically synthesized film, and a linear polarizer LP0 was placed here. And there are also birefringent folded retarders FR1 to FR4 between two adjacent OPVs. Then how it works. The OPV1 and OPV2 sense polarization, while OPV3 to OPV6 sense colors and also provide a single polarization channel. There is a wavelength band for each FR, and the light in band will rotate by 90 degrees, so it won't reach the next layer. When adding some polarized watermark to the original images, and then take a photo using the camera, they can detect the polarized light color by color. For example, the graph B, C, D, E shows 4 channels of polarization of different colors. Graph F shows the total imagery of the polarization light, and the graph G shows the final photograph. This technique can also be used in many fields, like to detect cancer. In the picture, the blue part is tumors and yellow part is healthy tissue. We know the surface of healthy cells in our body are smooth, while the tumors are irregular and uneven surfaces, so they won't reflect polarized light like other cells. The doctors can use this camera to find the tumors in the early stage. And you can also use the polarization to detect the weather, like the clear sky and cloudy sky in the picture. Some animals even use the polarization in the atmosphere to navigate. But mantis shrimps can't see the atmosphere, so we won't cover that. This video shows what polarization looks like in the camera and maybe what polarization looks like in mantis shrimp's eyes. But just as blind people couldn't image color, it's hard for us to image that those polarized light really looks like. That's all. Thank you.